Defund the police! Whoop, whoop. Defund the police! Whoop, whoop. Black Lives Matter activists are calling to defund the police, and those destructive ideas, they've spread. They're growing, they're moving. They've spread throughout the United States and beyond into Canada and across Europe like a cancer. But before we get to that, how will Elmer Fudd now capture the ever-elusive, wascally wabbit Bugs Bunny without a shotgun? I mean, Bugs Bunny will be freer than he's ever been, eating all the carrots he wants, making all the left turns at Albuquerque. What's up, Doc? It will never end. This year is quite the year for gun bans. Banned them from Canada, now banned them from classic cartoons. Elmer Fudd stripped of rifle in new Looney Tunes cartoon series. It just got a lot harder to hunt wascally wabbits. Warner Brothers is stripping Elmer Fudd of his rifle in a new Looney Tunes cartoon series on HBO Max, handicapping the grumpy hunter as he continues his decades-long pursuit of the wisecracking Bugs Bunny, according to reports. Fudd, known for his own catchphrase, "Shh, be very, very quiet. I'm hunting wabbits," gets outsmarted by Bugs at every turn, even though he's already had his trusty shotgun at his side. Until now. "We're not doing guns," Peter Braungart, executive producer of the new series, told the New York Times. "But we can do cartoony violence. TNT, the Acme stuff, all of that was kind of grandfathered in. All that was grandfathered in, not the guns, like everything except for that, but Fudd won't be empty-handed, however. Don't worry. He'll now use a scythe to try to bag Bugs. Huh. So note that the violence is not the issue here, apparently. That's cartoony violence. A-okay, it's been grandfathered in, but there'll be TNT, there'll be scythes, just no guns. And does that not seem more violent and inhumane to anyone else? Or is it just me that hunting a rabbit with a scythe rather than a shotgun? Take this, you wascally wabbit. Die. My goodness. As certain individuals, companies, and governments push for less guns, we may actually find ourselves in need of more. How else will you protect yourself if the police are abolished? From CNN, there's a growing call to defund the police. Here's what it means. There's a growing group of dissenters who believe Americans can survive without law enforcement as we know it, and Americans, those dissenters believe, may even be better off without it. The solution to police brutality and racial inequalities in policing is simple, supporters say. Simple. Just defund police. Well, I didn't see it. It was right there in front of me. It's as straightforward as it sounds. Instead of funding a police department, a sizable chunk of a city's budget is invested in communities, especially marginalized ones where much of the policing occurs. It's so obvious. And just to be clear, defunding police is, if you look at the actual word, it's not a reduction in police spending. And we'll look at another article in just a moment speaking to that effect. But here's the definition of defund. Prevent from continuing to receive funds. Prevention. Total prevention. Reducing is not defunding. The activists aren't calling for reduction in police funding, but to get rid of it, abolish it. Those at the top, that's what they want. But I get that not all mean that, and it is in fact catchier to cry out, defund the police. Defund the police. to defund the police rather than chant reduce policing budgets.
Reduce policing budgets.
Yeah, not as catchy. Consider Black Lives Matter. Consider Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter. I've seen the argument of comparing a broken arm to all bones, and it is an interesting argument and an interesting thought exercise. It goes like, all bones matter, yes, but the broken one needs attention. Well, that makes sense, but what happened to using that same logic, that same reasoning, that same argument for the police? Instead of violent police are the problem, the response became all police are the problem. A small subset of police have been causing problem. Causing problem. No problem. Get rid of them all.
Doctor, I have a broken arm.
Well, I'm sorry, Timmy, but I'm gonna have to put you down. As an aside, the argument against that argument is not that all bones are in need of the same attention as the broken one, but rather that the premise is flawed there because you're assuming there is a broken arm. Is it that's the question. Is the arm even broken?
Hey, your arm isn't broken. It's bruised. You took a tumble a number of years ago and have a lot of bruised bones. The answer? Take it easy. Wait it out.
In the words of Morgan Freeman when asked how to solve racism on CBS's 60 Minutes, he said to, quote, "Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man, and I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man." Not a bad idea.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
The cancer.
She spreads.
What am I doing? Let's take a look at an article from CTV entitled Defund the Police Movement Gathers Momentum in Canada. Like I said, it's spreading, it's growing. Citing decades of failed reform, Canadian protesters against anti-black racism have rallied around another mantra for change. Defund the police. Enough!
Defund the police.
Instead of tweaking the current system of law enforcement, activists say that a more powerful approach could be a new kind of law enforcement altogether. The start of that change is removing and reallocating massive sums of money provided to police forces in the country. They say, which could help prevent more police-involved deaths like the one that have spurred ongoing outrage, including Minnesota man George Floyd and Toronto woman Regis Korchinski-Paquette. Paquette. More than $15 billion was spent in Canada on policing in 2017 through 18, according to Statistics Canada, an increase to the year prior. The push to defund is gaining momentum in some parts of Canada. In Toronto, where almost a quarter of each person's property taxes go just to funding the police, 2 city councillors on Monday put forward a motion to cut the city's police budget by 10% and shift it to much-needed community supports. Thousands have signed petitions in other parts of the country, from Regina, Saskatchewan to Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, for similar reallocations of police funds. Now, how will that reduction in spending for police manifest itself? It's a good question to ask. I think the most straightforward way that everyone on the left and the right could perhaps find some common ground here and work together and drive towards this goal, making a good change for everyone, would be to abolish the police unions.
Defund the unions.
That one's not bad. And yes, I am really wringing that bit to death. I've heard other conservative commentators suggest a similar thing, the same thing really, and it makes sense to me. Want to make it easier to get rid of bad cops? Well, get rid of the organizations that defend them. And is it just me, or does it seem odd to have any public office have a union? Get rid of all of them. Get rid of police unions, teachers unions. But I digress. Changes are afoot. And there are changes that I think most on both sides of the political spectrum can be pleased with. But let's be careful in making those changes. Let's think things through and not rush into making rash decisions like abolishing the police completely, entirely. Or maybe get rid of them. Maybe get rid of them all, and let's allow all citizens to conceal carry guns. It seems most cities with the loudest cry to get rid of the police, to defund the police, have the strictest gun control laws. But hey, ease up on those, let everyone carry and defend themselves, and maybe that is also a change that would please both conservatives and liberals. That seems the riskier option, but hey, it could be fun living in the Wild West again. Excuse me. Howdy, partner. This is a wrong hat for that. If you liked, hit the like. And if you really liked it, subscribe for more.